Good morning, everyone. I wanted to come on this morning and share distracted. Distracted. I was thinking over the weekend about, and I've been thinking it for a while, for February is Black History Month. But I haven't heard many people talking about Black history. And I thought about something that my father said years ago when we were growing up. Never forget. Never forget. Because when you begin to forget, you make a choice to go back. And I believe, this is just me, nobody has to agree with me. I believe we're getting distracted. We're getting so distracted, we're not even putting energy into remembering our Black history. Remembering those things that our ancestors went through, that we may be able to live the lives that we do today. But let me tell you something. There are people right now fighting to take away Black history being taught in schools. And we are sitting here distracted by things that's not going to even last forever, like music. I understand a lot of people, I don't look at it, but a lot of people do look at the different award shows and stuff like that. I just feel like I don't have enough time in my day for that. And sure, people are making accomplishments in life and they're doing things out of their arts and in movies and theaters and songs. But let me tell you something. That should not be at the top of your food chain when things are happening every day to impact you. Every day to impact you. I was reminded as I was reflecting on this moment about when me and my late husband went to Tennessee, and we went and visited a site and was looking at history in this site, and it was a bunch of musicians, B.B. King and all of these people. And then we looked across the waters. And guess what? They had an area, but you had to catch a train. You have to catch a train over there on that side to get over there to see where they used to take slaves through the area. In that river, they would bring slaves through there, but you would go over to this other side, and they had the things what they carried, the cotton in these bags. They had chains that they had on these people, and it's heart-wrenching. How and when did we decide to forget our history? What's important? Because we're getting distracted. The governor in Florida, and let me tell you, if he gets away with it, he won't be the only one. He will not be the only one in taking away Black history being taught in schools. So if they don't want to teach you and your kids in the school, you need to be teaching them at home that you are more than a record. You are more than a movie. You are more than a football player. You are more is in you than what you may think or feel. But we are getting distracted. And when you get distracted, you can say what you want. Eventually, you'll stop talking about the things of importance. Black history is important. And I will say this again. My choice is my choice, not to get so caught up in entertainment. That's just my choice. But there are people who are deep-seated in it. But don't forget history. Don't forget those people who were embodied in slavery, who were beaten, who were raped. And when you start doing that, how do you think that somebody else is supposed to think or see your importance in this world? As my late father would say, what's so easily to forget about will one day hurt you, will one day come back and hurt you. We're to be building a future for our children and our grandchildren. But how can you build when you don't know what you're building from? We accuse young people of so many things. But what are we reminding them of? What are we sharing with them? I do that with my nieces, my nephews, my grandchildren. I've done it with, my great nieces, my great nephews. I continue to speak history because if you don't know where you come from, you can never appreciate where you're going. We go into colleges and universities that we used to couldn't go to. But somebody paved the way. We can be seen in hospitals today that we used to could not go to for medical attention. Because somebody paved the way. It's easy to sit back and complain. But what are you going to do about it? You just going to sit by and keep waiting for the next segment of entertainment to come out? And I'm telling you, we are distracted, whether we want to own up to it or not. And it saddens my heart because I think about my great grandfather who was cut in half down in Mississippi because they wanted his land. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about when they beat a cousin of mine who is much older than me because he was driving on the wrong side of town. I think about those ladies, those stories of even people in my family who went out there and they picked their own vegetables, but they picked cotton to make money. What about those elderly men in your family? See, you can start with your family in keeping the history in your family alive. Talk to these young people about their ancestry as well as yours. Start there because as Joe Madison on Sirius XM 126 will always say, he always says this: what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? That's an individual thing. One of the things is, you notice how we don't even have family reunions like we used to. And that's what the elders did to bring us all together, and they sit around and tell the stories of what our family went through to remind us that you're not getting what you're able to get on today because of you. Some people died for you. Start there. I learned a lot through family reunions. Start there. Start somewhere. If it's just sitting down in your home, and that's something that I do, inviting them for a round table in your home and talk about history and talk about the importance of family and share with them where their grandmothers and grandfathers came from. That's just some things that I do. That's everybody can do something. But you need to sit down with yourself and say, what can I do to remind those in my family unit about their history? And reminding them not to become so distracted about temporary things. Because you cannot appreciate where you are until you are reminded from where you came. I love learning. I came out of a home where my father was adamant. He wasn't only military, but he was a black man who went through some things. And he would always sit us down and have the important conversations. And he would say that, I'm getting ready, y'all kids get in here. I'm getting ready to have an important conversation with you. And it's 13 of us. And I'm the baby in the family. But they took out time, my dad and my mother, to teach us about where we come from through what they had been through. You can't just sit back and complain. Remember, and then figure out how you want to share history. Because I'm telling you, it's no joke what they're doing down in Florida to try and erase Black history being taught in schools. Because if they get away with it, other states will follow behind them. What do you want the young people in your family, in this world, to remember about you? This is something I've told my daughter and I've told my grandkids when I put them in the car and just rode them around and talked about the history that I grew up in, how poor we were, where I lived. And they enjoyed that. And to this day will ask me, Grandma, when we going to ride around and talk about that stuff again? Like talk about, how you grew up. See, they want to hear it. But we got to offer it to them. And we got to make them comfortable in having those conversations. You will realize that when you start talking to young people about history, you will capture their attention because they want to know. They want to know. I say to you this morning, stop being so distracted. Utilize this month. Every day, yes, is Black History every day. But a month has been designated to Black history. And we talking about everything but Black history. So I just wanted to come on this morning, share that with you, because it's laying heavy on my heart. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. And let's take some time out just to reflect. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to remember your history. It can't be. Well, you got people down there in Florida trying to make sure that it's not taught. Governor DeSantis fighting hard to take Black history out of schools. That's why I'm saying, do not be distracted. What all this excitement is going on about today, new record coming out, new movie coming out, new what that's going to continue to happen. Somebody new going to always come on the scene. But your history, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to focus on. Do it for our youth. That's what I'm asking. Do it for the young people so that they will never forget and appreciate the things and opportunities that they now get in life. But blood was shed for us. Yes, it was. Lots of blood was shed. Lots of people died just for you to have rights. Just for you to be seen as a human being. Don't be so distracted. Y'all have a good day on this Monday morning of February 6th. And take care of yourselves. Okay? Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.